Tell me about the success of your coaching career from when you started to now. Talk about how your success and how you've done.
Uh, well, it's been a heck of a journey. I mean, that just means I'm an old guy when you ask that question. Um, but I grew up the son of a coach, so I think it was in my blood since I've been a kid. And as far as I moved to Virginia right out of college, I'm from Pennsylvania originally and have never left. Um, so anyhow, I started at Stafford High School as an assistant, went to George Mason and became a head coach there, which was single A at the time. Went to double A Culpeper, and we transitioned to triple A while I was there. Went to Hylton, had a good run at Hylton up in Prince William. That was a Division 6 school. And then Mountain View. I live in Stafford County, so when I came down to Mountain View a little over 10 years ago, this is where my kids were going to school. I want to be a little closer to home, and it was a good move. Now I've been at Mountain View longer than any of the other schools. I would say this: it was never my plan to, change after 8 to 10 years. It just kind of happened that way, changing schools. But looking back on it, I think there's something refreshing on that where, everybody gets old. I don't mean me getting tired of them, but everybody, like them getting tired of me. Like I can start at a new place and, try to get some energy involved. And, the same old stuff that I've been doing for a while is all new to those guys. And, but I think it's been refreshing for my career. And overall, looking back, it was never my plan, but it's the way it's played out. And so I've enjoyed the journey.
Talk to me about what the success of your coaching career has meant to your family. I mean, you've had to move places, so talk to me about the success.
Well, we didn't move much. The one thing that I think as a coach, if I regret anything, it takes away time from my family. When I was in college, I played against my father, and that was one thing. On Parents' Day, get that. But I coached against my son. My son was already going to Stafford High School when I moved back to Stafford, so we played each other. And that was probably the hardest thing I ever had to do because you want to root for your son, you want to be a dad, and yet you're competing against them. But my wife's great in the sense that she knows that it's football season, if you will, and we put in a lot of time. And that's just kind of the way it is in our household. I hope my kids don't feel like I missed out on everything, but it was one of my factors in moving back to Stafford County. So, I always joke about my son was wrestling in middle school and I'm driving down 95 and I race in the gym to see him wrestle. And if he was one more car on 95, I would have missed his entire match. I get in there, he's a lightweight, so he wrestles early. And I did miss out on some stuff with my family. So that I look back and regret. And I'm thankful that my family was so supportive, and still is, but my kids are all grown now, but supportive of my career and the football aspect. It's kind of a combination job. And I think what I'm I don't say my hobby, but what gets me going and what inspires me, and they've always been supportive of that. So I don't know. I talked to a lot of coaches that coached their son, and I was never going to make my son do that. And honestly, I think it would have been hard on him because he was a little guy, and anything that he would have got in the football field might have been because, hey, your dad's the coach. So he kind of earned everything he got in his own program, in his own place. And, I respected that. But if anything, I want to thank my family in the sense that I did miss out on some things and maybe still do when it's the fall. But I think my wife's used to it now and understands it, but they've been supportive.
Well, tell me about the season that you're having. I mean, I know you guys had a little bit of a little spring season and you guys went 4-4. 3-3 in the regular season, 1-1 in the playoffs. Tell me about the season that your guys are having now.
Well, and I'm sorry if I backtrack a little bit. I don't know if I answered the last question the way you thought. I don't know if that was a little bit I will say this. Culpeper is where we won a state championship, and we built the program up, and that was a heck of a lot of fun, kind of the rise to the top. Hylton was already an established program, and actually, I've seen the beauty of both of that. But that was, sometimes I had got a newfound respect for a team that is consistently near the top, because that's a whole another set of difficulties and challenges you got to deal with. But that was a new set of challenges for me. And then Mountain View, I kind of joked around at Hylton and Culpeper. Once we got it rolling at Culpeper, if we lost, it was kind of because of me if I screwed them up, once we got good. And Hylton was already good when I got there. At Mountain View, it hasn't been that way. Within a 5-10 minute drive, we got Colonial Forge, North Stafford, Massaponax in our district, but teams that are perennially year in and year out, very talented, maybe more talented than us in given years. And so that challenge to take a team of kids that work hard, that do have talent, but we know that there's going to be good competition around. So I guess in each one of my settings, in each one of my scenarios, I enjoyed the individual challenge each school had to present. So I don't know if I got away from your other question, but I wanted to at least
No, that's fine.
put that out there.
Yeah, just tell me about this season, how this season's gone.
Yeah, we were optimistic, coming out of the spring, because we were so young and we thought we were playing our best ball late. And the one thing I've learned, and I think our program has learned, and our assistant coaches and our players, is you're never sure what's getting around the next corner. You're never sure, whether game's going to be forfeited, whether players are going to be down and can't go, whatever. And so that was being able to bounce back and respond. We have a phrase we use around here, response ability. And that means what's your ability to respond to things you can't control. And that's a great lesson for anybody, especially for these young men that are going to go out and be adults in life. You're going to have things thrown at you that you're not prepared for. And so how are you going to respond to that? So I think our kids have done a great job. I've been really pleased with, us following protocol, with COVID and adjusting the schedule changes and what have you. And, but our guys like to play football. Our coaches have done a great job of, rolling with the punches and teaching our kids response ability. So we thought we had a shot to be good, but again, we play a lot of teams that are usually pretty talented, and there's a lot more parity, I would say, this year, with Forge not quite being as good as they normally are. Massaponax was fantastic last year, and they're still good. They only have one loss this year, but they got off to a late start. So those two powerhouses weren't quite at the level. And then, we're still young. So I think as far as it's played out, we've done a great job with that. We keep challenging the kids. They keep working hard. And, I told them today, I said, look in the NFL, look at college, not too many teams that are undefeated, not too many teams that are, we have one more win in our regular season to go a 10-0 regular season. And that doesn't happen often at all at any level, because that preaches consistency. You can have teams that are good, for, 4 games, and then they have a letdown or a trap game or something like that. So I've been real proud of our kids' consistency. I think they believe that we can still grow and get better. I mean, they see the films and know that, but they've been fun to coach. They've competed every week, and that as a head football coach, if our guys work hard and hustle and play hard, we'll take that first and foremost, and then we'll say, and the fact that they got talent helps too. So it's certainly a lot.
No, you're 9-0. You're getting ready. You got one more win. You possibly be 10-0. What are your thoughts on possibly a championship run throughout the playoffs? What are your thoughts there?
Well, our goal right now is to win a district championship. So we've at least clinched part of the title, but we want it outright. Riverbend is a solid team. They're 7-2. We faced the last 3 or 4 teams we faced were all solid. And I told them again today that everybody we're going to play from here on out is going to be a good ball club. I've seen most of the other teams in the region that'll probably be in the playoffs, and there's not much separation. You probably put Stonebridge way up at the top, but everybody else is real close. And on the field and in the points and all that way around. So it's not like, hey, who do we want to play? It's not that situation at all. And, we challenge our guys. We try to start 22 guys and go 11 on 11. And today we emphasize best on best with the mentality that's we're going to play nothing but good people the rest of the way. We don't do that all year. In fact, as the year goes on, we'll practice that way less and less. It'll be, a first team versus a scout team. But I think the kids like that challenge, and that's what I like about them. I think they understood what we're trying to do. And we didn't go long, but it's one of the goals of my program that we're going to start the best 22 and get them involved. And in football, the deeper you are, the better off you are. And there's certainly some kids that play both sides of the ball, but I like doing that as a head coach because now my coaches can't fight over guys. I decide whether they're going offense or defense, and they got to coach the guys that are there. But I think it makes us better in the long run. And the idea of one guy getting injured doesn't affect us all the way around. So there's a rhyme and a reason, and you get better moving at a faster tempo than you do against the scout offense or defense or whatever.
So talk to me about some of your biggest standout players this year. You've had, obviously running back Ike Daniels has been pretty standout, but talk to me about some others plus him.
Well, I think one of the things that we've done well offensively is we've spread the ball around. It hasn't just been Ike, although he's been fantastic. And I think he has 18 touchdowns right now, which would be averaging 2 a game. He's our second leading receiver. He carries the ball. We get close to the goal line. Sometimes he lines up different as the blocking back. He does that to give other guys a touch there. So that's the unselfish mentality that he has. But he's a fantastic player and is a lot of fun to coach. Our quarterback's been phenomenal, and now in 11 starts. He started our last 2 games last year. Jackson Sigler's his name. But he's 33 touchdown passes, 2 interceptions. So I don't care what level you're coaching there. That's very, very hard to do. And he makes good decisions. He's got the ability to run, although I wouldn't classify him as a running quarterback, but he's shown some success that way. But he's accurate with the football. He's got a good arm. He's smart. He can read defenses. So he's been fantastic, and he's been the guy that's been distributing the ball. And then besides Ike, who's got, I think, 24, 25 catches right now, besides Ike, we have 3 other really, really good receivers. Colin Carroll is a big wide receiver. Jordan Jackson is another big wide receiver. And then Jaden Fair is our slot guy that is extremely quick. And they're all over, 16, 17 catches. But it's a lot of weapons. So to me, I approach from a defensive standpoint. The teams that are toughest to stop are the ones that you don't know where the ball's going. And we've done a good job there. I'd say our offensive line was one of our weaknesses last year, and they're developing. They're not where they want to be yet. We start 2 sophomores up there, but they've done a good job, and they certainly they've progressed and gotten better. So in that sense, I think the fact that we got more than one weapon, or we're trying to spread the ball around, and we got a quarterback that can distribute the ball and has made great decisions that way, is a key reason for our success. And those guys are talented players. They're good receivers and good running. Tyler Perry, I didn't mention our other running back and should have, is a senior that's about 500 yards right now and has done a great job. So we run, we can run a 1-back set, or we can run 2 backs. And that's one way we get Ike to split out. And Tyler Perry's taken a major step up and is a talented kid. So he's another guy I should add, because you'll come to one game and see him rip off a 60-yard touchdown run and say, wow, who's that guy? And so the fact that we got more than one skill guy, and the exciting thing for me is of those, I guess I named, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys there. 4 of them are going to return. So that's exciting. We knew we were going to be good. The question is how soon. And I felt that way in the spring. So offensively, we've done a good job, and we've stayed out of bad plays, and we've been very explosive. So that's, those are our main guys there.
Defensively, any standouts defensively?
Yeah, we got some guys. Peyton Parker for us is a senior, 230 pound. He's kind of a hybrid defensive end linebacker, but he's strong and he creates a lot of havoc off the edge. Then our other outside linebacker is just a sophomore, Chris Jones, and now he's getting major college offers. He's long and lean, 6'3", about 215. He can run. So he's got a huge upside. And he's starting to get the looks now. It's kind of nice having Ike where a lot of people are watching our films, and now our other guys are starting to get some attention. We've gotten really fine play in the back end. Brendan Robinson is one of our leading safeties, has done a great job. And Hunter Holmquist is another hybrid. He was actually our as a number 2 quarterback. Sigler's been so good that we've kept him there, but he's going over and he plays part DB, part linebacker. And the second half of the season, he's been outstanding. We see the leadership skills he provided on offense, or what we'd expect a quarterback to provide now on our defense. And then the last but not least, we got another sophomore. We had 2 guys that started in the spring for us as freshmen, on defense. Chris Jones was one, and he's a D1 player. And then the other guy up front, a defensive lineman, is Eric Mensa. And he's just a sophomore, but he's a kid that can run. He's got a huge football upside. He's still learning the game, but he's a big kid that can run and can create a lot of damage. So those have been our key guys. But what's nice about that, it's a guy at each level. And I thought last week against North Stafford, they heard us hit 2 big plays. Well, they scooped up a fumble and scored, and then they threw a reverse pass for a big-time touchdown. So they had 14, kind of the easy way if you look at it from a defensive perspective. And the game was tied at 14, and our guys didn't flinch. They went in halftime. I told them, just keep playing, especially the defense, and they did. And they settled nicely. But what I really liked about Game 8 was our communication. And on the second and third level, there was a lot of communicating. And good teams need to do that. You see a different offense every week, different people to stop. And if you can't adjust or communicate on the fly, my experience has taught me as you move on and play better teams, that's going to come back and bite you. So I really saw some good communication among our defense and, kept us out of a lot of maybe blown plays or coverages or what have you. So really pleased to see that. And that was part of the idea that we're still growing in week 9. And you need to do that. If you're going to move on, like I said, in the playoffs, you're going to face good football teams. So you got to keep growing as a team yourself.